Is your business protected against the threat of malicious litigation and frivolous lawsuits? Are you sinking company profits into marketing campaigns that do nothing to contribute to the growth of your business? Bottled Business Sense provides practical business perspectives that uniquely emphasize both legal and media marketing strategies to protect and ensure the longevity of your business. Now, whether you're trying to provide a startup business with some level of stability or an established business with foolproof asset and estate protection, or simply attempting to get a better return for your business marketing dollars, Bill Bernard and Rick Moscoso will expose potential pitfalls to ensure the security and growth of your business, free from unwanted expense and the threat of litigation. You'll learn how to implement marketing and protection tools equal to those used by today's most successful corporations. Let's join Bill and Rick for today's Bottled Business Sense show.
Good morning, everyone. Bill Bernard here with my partner Rick Moscoso for another show, another Bottled Business Sense show. Again, we are glad to have you with us. We appear every week, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. It's approximately a 45-minute or maybe even 30-minute show at times. And as you know by now, we try to concentrate on marketing your small business or large business for that matter, because we're hoping it grows and continues to prosper. And of course, the protection of your business through the application of legal principles that we try to offer for free to everyone who might be able to gain a general understanding of how the law operates, and realizing as well that it has to be, you have to see an attorney to particularize your situation to make sure you get the right advice. But in any event, having said all of that, before I introduce Rick, I want to say a few words about this interesting show we have today. We're you know, I don't think we talk enough about marketing. It's really the blood that runs through the arteries of your business. And we're going to talk today about something we haven't talked about before, and that's marketing automation, and how to make sure that this marketing in the automated age really is fine-tuned to the particular business that you have. So having said that, I'm here in one studio in the South Pacific at another office, and my partner Rick is in a small town somewhere in the Midwest. Good morning, Rick. How are you?
Good morning, Bill. Yeah, I'm here in central Wisconsin, in a town where I grew up, of about 3,500 people. I just noticed the sign on the way in, and it actually has grown to 4,200 people. So,
wow, that's a remarkable jump in all those years, huh?
Yeah. Well, you know, great growing up in a small town, but now coming back, one of the challenges is really finding a quiet spot that's connected with the internet in a place where we can do what we're doing here today. So. Yeah.
You must be swimming in cheese out there, huh?
Oh, I tell you, one of the first things we did when we came back is, and it's kind of a ritual for us, is to stop and get fresh, squeaky cheese, right?
Yep.
So we got some yesterday when we came in, and it was just packaged, you know, late morning. So it extremely fresh and extremely squeaky. So it satisfied us. It was great.
Well, enjoy a piece for me out there while you're there, and enjoy your family. But anyway, let's get into the show. Now, this marketing automation, Rick, I know you put together a pretty neat outline. It talks about some objectives and automation software and how you document the marketing process and making sure that sales and marketing teams work together. So now let's start out by telling the audience what's different from when you normally have the concept of marketing, and that you want to advertise your business and make sure your business is known out there. What would be the difference between general marketing and automated marketing, or is there a difference?
Well, yeah, there is a difference from a purely definition standpoint. You know, there's all kinds of different marketings that you can do for your business, and that can be electronic. It can be the traditional hard copy marketing. It can also be your network marketing, okay, that sort of thing. But what I wanted to focus on today is more the electronic stuff, because business owners, entrepreneurs are overwhelmed by a myriad of different systems out there that are available to them. And how do you choose which one's right for you in your business? How do you know which one's going to target the best to your target market and produce results? And so that's really the challenge, because you and I and others out here that are listening, we're entrepreneurs and we wear just about every hat in the company in most cases, right? Unless and we're ultimately responsible for every aspect of what we do, and that's from meeting clients to doing the books to outbound marketing and all that stuff. And so, our time is valuable, and we don't want to be sitting in front of a marketing system or marketing to the wrong people, wasting a lot of time and not getting any results. So what I thought I'd go over today is, rather than speak specifically to marketing automation software or things that you have there, because every business is going to be a little bit different, I thought I'd bring up some of the most common mistakes that ultimately will end up dooming your marketing in the form of looking at marketing automation platforms, so to speak. So you really have to have a good understanding of your marketing process, and that comes with defining clear objectives. Okay, and what I mean by that is that whenever you market to your target audience, you really have to have an end goal in mind. What is that marketing effort going to do? Is it meant to more call-ins, right? Is it meant to increase your online awareness? In other words, are you trying to build your social following? Or are you trying to get opt-ins on your website to educate potential clients that may be coming in? Okay, in that case, the sales process is a little bit longer, where you're not selling a product. Somebody comes online, buys your product, and they're done. It could be a service where you're trying to establish credibility, you're trying to establish yourself as an expert, and so unless you really have clear objectives of what your marketing campaign is meant to do, then you're just kind of throwing, you're taking the shotgun approach and just, shooting everything up there and seeing what sticks.
Right. And I think it does make sense. And one thing I want to point out to the audience, and I think you'll probably confirm this for me, Rick, is that these objectives that you're going to put in place assume that you already know your niche market, your target audience, which we've discussed in previous shows. In other words, once you establish what your niche market is, now you're going to establish the objectives that you need to reach that type of market. So I don't want to get into that again today, but I want to make sure that the audience understands that these objectives now that you're going to focus on is going to be done or put in place after your niche market has been established, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, otherwise you're starting from scratch, and that's a whole nother program. So today, what we're talking about is, the target market that you're after. Now you got to ask yourself a subset of that. All right, why are you marketing to them? Is it to produce sales leads, for your sales team? Is it meant to just educate and create awareness out there, establishing yourself as an expert? Is it meant to convert the leads that you already have that you're in play with? Okay, so establishing the purpose of your marketing automation to your niche is really just as important as identifying your niche. So
yeah. Fantastic. Well, now how does excuse me, when I was looking at this outline, the first thing I thought, Rick, is that you have down here automation software. Now, when you say the words, I guess somebody would initially think about, okay, there's some sort of software that you plug in that will allow you to market to people. But is it more than that? I mean, how do you define automation software, and how does that play into marketing to your objectives?
Well, like I said before, there's a ton of software out there that is meant to streamline or automate your outbound marketing. So unless you have number one defined, you could end up getting the wrong type of software and working not working proactively towards your end goals. So when I mention marketing automation software, it's really just meant as a generalization, because every business is going to be different. Like for what you do as an attorney could be totally different than what I'm doing for outbound production, work and video as a video marketing coach. So it could be totally different. And so it's once you define these first couple of steps, then you can look out for these automated platforms that will help you achieve those goals, rather than the other way around. Find the software first and try and fit your marketing into that.
Give me an example, Rick, if you can, about, give me an example of, and pick any profession you want. Give me an example of a type of automated software that you could use in your business.
Okay, well, let's use a real estate agent, for example, right? So they are extremely heavy on data mining and data manipulation. Not so much data manipulation, but data mining. They want to find potential sellers that will make them the most money, and so they may already have different platforms in gathering seller leads through, whether it's something like through Zillow, through their opt-in, searching for new homes type of thing on their website, through an IDX platform. Okay, and just in general, I don't want to get into the whole lengthy thing, but an IDX platform basically is when you go to a real estate broker's or an agent's website and you see the boxes that say search for a home, what area, how big, how much, and defining all those search parameters. Okay. That's really behind that is the IDX platform that's gathering data that essentially is creating leads for them to follow up on. Okay, so that's a very specific automation type of front-end automation software for a real estate agent.
Okay, so you're saying that there's automation software, and correct me if I'm wrong. Is there automation software for each type of objective that you define you want to go after?
Yeah, I mean, in this case with the IDX platform, it's very specific to real estate agents. Now there are other enterprise-based softwares that are pretty hefty and rather expensive for the the smaller entrepreneur business. So the one that comes to mind that's relatively popular throughout the industry is I just forgot it. It'll come back to me.
Okay.
But basically what it does, it entails email, your outbound marketing campaigns, your drip campaigns that you send out to nurture the leads. It can also act as a CRM, right? So how and when to follow up with these leads that come into your funnel. So it can, Infusionsoft. Okay, so you have a hefty software platform like Infusionsoft, and Infusionsoft can be kind of expensive. It's anywhere from $300 to about $1,000 a month, depending on the size of your enterprise. It can do all these things, but it's extremely comprehensive. Yeah. And for the smaller entrepreneur, it may be overkill, way more of an engine that they need to get. So what I usually encourage is to start off with something small, simple to learn, automate those tasks first, and then grow. Once you start growing beyond that, most of these platforms you can expand with, but then once you get to a certain point where you're producing millions or tens of millions of dollars in business, then you might need something hefty like Infusionsoft to help control all that stuff. So really important that, number one, you have clear objectives. You understand your customers. Who are you targeting? Most of all, are you targeting the decision makers, like the CEOs of the company, the financial people of the company? Who are the gatekeepers of the organizations that you're targeting? It's really a vital part of your strategy when you create this automated piece of your marketing, because you could end up sending emails to the wrong people that either they don't open it or it's just totally ineffective.
Right, right. No, that makes a lot of sense. So part of understanding your objectives is going to be implementing the software that you need and marketing it to the appropriate person who's going to understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. So once you have those goals in mind, you decide on a platform. Just the most important thing is make sure it's scalable. There's a lot of platforms out there that are extremely scalable for the small business entrepreneur. But really focus in on your goals. What are your objectives? Make sure that platform will do it for you. In fact, there's simple things like, let's take, for example, your social media platform, right? And you may have multiple touch social media. It could be Twitter, it could be Facebook, it could be Pinterest. I mean, all these different type of platforms. And it takes time to go into each platform to do your marketing campaign. And it's a time drain because, if you have 5 social media platforms, you're doing the same thing 5 times on all these platforms. If you implemented some kind of automated software like, for example, and there's plenty of them out there, like Hootsuite. Okay, Hootsuite is a great an example of a central point where you can create your marketing campaign for social media. You tell Hootsuite which social media platforms you want to push out that content to, and when and how often. And then once you have that all set up, you initiate the campaign, and it sends out to all those different platforms with one push, rather than having to do 5 pushes, right?
So I want to emphasize to the audience that this is not just a bunch of generalities. What I mean by that is, excuse me, if we work backwards, you're using this automated software to market it not just to anybody, but to specific customers that will understand it and appreciate it, based on the clearly defined objectives that you have already set out for yourself at the beginning of this marketing process. And once you start implementing that, I guess my question is, Rick, why don't enough people do this? And I can answer my own question, I guess, by saying this takes some refinement and an investment of time. What we're discussing is quite different than just going out on Facebook and posting a picture of yourself saying, I'm a great chef and I'm eating at Joe Blow's restaurant down the street this week. You should come and try it, and then come in and compare it to the food that I cook at Mary Joe's restaurant, right? In other words, this takes some real effort and some real dedication, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it takes a lot of thought in doing it and planning it, and that leads us into the next part here. And I know you may have not done this. Many of us haven't done this well in the beginning, but I know, Bill, for a fact, you do this really well, and that's really one of the mistakes people make when they go into marketing or trying to automate this stuff is really having a lack of documented marketing process. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is it's not regular, it's reactive, and it's kind of willy-nilly. What's the flavor of the month type of thing, right?
Yeah.
So right. I know for you, and I can't remember which days you do this or if you do this every day, but you have a dedicated time slot to push out your emails, to push out your newsletters, to do your social media posts, right? And you do that on a regular basis. I know you're really good at this, and you do this on a regular basis, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I do it. I probably do it about 3 times a week in dedicated slots that I have set aside for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really have to calendar this time in and do it on a regular basis. Otherwise, you'll end up being reactive with your marketing. You may miss the mark, and you may end up wasting a ton of time just because you're not prepared. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Organization, and that's the key, really, to that. And I could see how that would fit in, precisely into what we're discussing. One of the things that's fascinated me about this outline that you put together, Rick, is the notation that the marketing and the sales teams must work together. Exactly what do you mean by that?
Oh, well, I used to work in corporate in the medical field and on the marketing side. And one of the objectives that we had in planning is that we always had a weekly meeting with the sales team to find out what the issues were in there and how to address them, or be proactive in marketing a new feature and benefit for the piece of equipment that we had. So we were walking in step with our sales team. So if you have a business where you do have a sales team, or you have a sales manager, you really have to keep in line or in step with them to understand how to market the best to your target market. Because if you're operating your marketing division in a silo that's not addressing the stuff that's going on the street that will put you a step ahead of your competition, well, you could end up working against each other than, as opposed to working with each other to be more effective. So very, very important to be talking and communicating with your sales team. So as a marketing person for your outbound marketing campaigns, you're saying the right things at the right time and addressing any issues that could or may come up. Right?
And I think why that's so important in this particular scenario is that oftentimes, if you have a solopreneur as opposed to a business that has employees and a sales force, that solopreneur is the marketing guy and the sales guy, he or she, and they have to be on the same page. And while you would think that would be pretty easy, it really isn't if you don't have your ducks in a row with regard to this marketing concepts.
Oh yeah, I mean, if and especially crucial if you're a solopreneur, because we as solopreneurs, a lot of times we're so focused on the task at hand that we focus on the tree rather than looking at the forest, right? Sometimes right. you have to take a 10,000-foot view at everything that you're doing and figure out, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I surfing in the right place? Am I targeting the right audience? And sometimes that's hard because we have a lot of pride in what we do in just we try and do right. as best we can in every area, but a lot of times we so narrow focus on what we're doing that we sometimes our different things that we're doing in our business are not congruent as a whole to our main objective, right? So you got to really be able to step back and really take a look at everything.
Yeah, and if you need to get objective advice, this would be a perfect situation where a coach of some sort like yourself would come in handy, because it's really important to get that objective input. I mean, that's what I do as an attorney. I give my clients objective advice. I'm emotionally outside what they're experiencing, and so I think it's similar in a business, and you need to get that perspective on things. I noticed that you also put on your outline, you must offer the right kind of content, which to me, off the cuff, Rick, seems kind of a little strange that I need you to explain to the audience, because I know I'm missing something critical here. Why do I say that? Because wouldn't you presume that if you follow the steps we just discussed, you would already have the right kind of content? So what's the missing link here?
Yeah, you would think that would be the case. But again, as a solopreneur, sometimes you get so narrow focused that you can miss the mark sometimes by not delivering the right content for your target audience. In other words, does the content that you're delivering, does it solve the problems of your target market, or is it more salesy and flashy and kind of show-offy, type of thing? Does it address the challenges and pains that they're having, and are you clearly offering a unique solution to them by what you do? And really, that's what I mean. And specifically, especially for what I do, I'm a video marketing coach. I help people with their outbound marketing, especially toward, as it pertains to video marketing. If you're delivering video marketing pieces to your audience, do those entice them, right? Does it address the problems that they're having? Or is it more, I guess what I see a lot of times is that people will try and too often to show off how much they know, but and
yeah, too
in
general.
most cases, yeah, and in most cases that really doesn't work, and it's not very productive. People out there, you've heard this. People really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you don't show how much you care about them, then it doesn't matter how much you know, because your message is going to be ineffective. So
okay, excuse me, Rick, real quick, a good example, right? Okay, your niche market is a shipping company, shipping companies. Your objective is to get them a more automated shipping process so their shipments can go out quicker. That's your objective. Now, you have to put in the content in your marketing that addresses how they get a more streamlined shipping procedure, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what your message should be focused on. It should be short and sweet, but definitely defined toward that need of customer or your target market, right? So extremely, extremely important.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see how these examples are helpful because now you've identified the niche, your shipping companies, you've identified the objective, how to help them get a more streamlined shipping procedure so they can ship more products more quickly. And now you have the content in your automated marketing to allow you to address that specifically in order to get their business. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I noticed, and I think this is going to be important, I have a feeling, but the last thing on your list is selling. Make sure you're selling instead of nurturing. How do we distinguish those things?
Oh, well, actually, you have that reversed because remember the topic is the 7 mistakes that doing your marketing automation, and it's a very common mistake that people make is that they're trying to oversell what they do versus nurturing their leads. Okay, so this is assuming now that you have a following, you have a database, marketing database that you're sending materials out to that you market. So you have one, I have one, all my customers that I have anywhere from a small to a gigantic database that they're marketing to, and we want to produce outbound marketing or information marketing to them that keeps you as the expert in your field top of mind with your database. So very, very important these days, especially in the internet marketing world, that you keep your content fresh with them, very informational, educational. So then when they are ready to pull the trigger to do business with you, you're top of mind because now you've established, and we talked about this in past episodes, you've established yourself as an expert in your field. You've given them a ton of information, educational information that that has been beneficial to them, and now they're ready to pull the trigger. It's almost like you've had this conversation with them over time. Now, when they actually call you on the phone, it's like they already have had the opportunity to get to know you. You've established their credibility. It's almost like, in some cases, it's almost like calling up an old friend or somebody that you just met, that had a great conversation with. You've gotten all the credibility stuff out of the way because you've established that because you've nurtured them along the way, and now they've gotten to know you. They've gotten to trust you through the information that you sent out to them. It makes the process even easier and the conversions even higher. Okay.
Yeah, so, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it establishes credibility, it establishes reliability. It almost is like a doctor-patient relationship. Now they trust your opinion, they respect you, and when you have those elements working together, that's who they're going to pick up the phone and call. Yeah,
exactly. So these are just 7 mistakes that I see people make when they do marketing or They're starting to automate their process. And so just to recap what those are again, and just as a reminder, the topic of today is the 7 mistakes that'll doom your marketing automation. Okay, and so the first one again is you don't have clear objectives. It's very important to have clear objectives, and this goes along with number 2 is are you marketing to the right customers within an organization? Okay, if you don't understand the needs of the customer, then you may not understand who you need to be targeting within that organization. So those are extremely important. The third is you put the cart ahead of the horse when you're trying to choose the right automation software. So define 1 and 2 first before you do go out and try and find an applicable to your business. And in some cases, it could just be an email platform that's measurable, right? And you know, if you're trying to do that with something like Gmail that's not really trackable, then you're wasting a lot of time because you don't know what the results are going to be. You don't know how often they're opening their emails, when they're opening their emails, and you don't know how to adjust your marketing campaigns based on their behaviors, because it's all about your client behaviors that you're interested in, so you know if you're doing the right thing or need to readjust. So those are very important things. The fourth would be the lack of a documented marketing process. So if you don't have these time slots calendared, most likely you're going to forget about it because the day-to-day stuff is going to be consuming, and then you'll put that off till tomorrow, and tomorrow it'll never happen. So
that's right.
Unless you calendar that time to do your outbound marketing at a very specific time, in most cases it won't work, and then you'll end up being reactive in your marketing. So
you must make the commitment. In other words.
Oh, absolutely, because that commitment will create a consistency, and then from that consistency, you'll see much better results. All right. If you're an organization that has a sales team and a marketing team, make sure you're walking in step. You're communicating at least on a weekly basis. You know what the sales force is saying out there or what they need to be saying, because you as a marketing team need to support what they're doing out there in the field, and your messages need to be congruent. So be meeting on a regular basis. Understand, the salespeople need to understand what the marketing division is doing. The marketing division needs to know what the salespeople need. So make sure all of that process is, and then, make sure that you're offering the right kind of content to your target marketing. Like we said, the last thing people want to hear is you beating your chest about how good you are. Right? Yeah. So they're more interested. They're more interested on how your solution is going to help them. So understand, I didn't use this word before, but I know we spoke about it before, but understand the buyer's persona. Okay.
Right.
And what I mean by that, just briefly, is where are they? Because somebody may need your service, but that buyer's persona may be at different stages of that buying process.
Right.
Whether it's early on, whether it's, I want to whittle this down to 2 or 3, people, or they're ready to pull the trigger, but I just need a little push, right? So understand where they are in that stage of buying is extremely important, and that way you can fine tune your content that you're delivering to them to help convert that lead into a sale. And then lastly, if you do have a sizable or a small to sizable database, regardless if it's 100 or 100,000, make sure that you are delivering content to them on a regular basis. I would suggest on the form of a video, short, brief video. If you're not comfortable with video, talk to me. I'll help you with that. But if it's not video, at least a newsletter or an email that keeps them up to date on the current trends, what's happening in your field. Just something to keep you as the entrepreneur, as a service provider or the product provider, something to keep you top of mind when when with the customer, because you never know when the need may arise. It could be like, there could be something urgent that happens, like, oh, I need somebody to help with this. Well, who's going to come to the top of their mind? It'll probably be someone like you if you're delivering the right content on a regular basis, and doing it correctly. So
if you're nurturing them, absolutely.
Yeah,
well, Rick, this has been a great, very succinct, straightforward show. I really do hope a lot of people have tuned in, and I also hope a lot of people will go back and click on this video and watch it, because I think it's very, very important. Tell us how we get a hold of you, and then tell our viewers, if you would, Rick, how they can go back and listen to this program again, where they can go to listen to it.
Oh, absolutely. You can always get a hold of me at rickmoscoso@gmail.com. My direct phone number is 949-667-1182. Reach out to me if you have any questions in regard to outbound marketing, video marketing, or need a video marketing coach. Be happy to help you out, at least point you in the right direction, kind of give you the landscape of how to get started and how to do it correctly, so you're not wasting a lot of time. If you would like to, for the first-time viewers out there, or if you'd like to replay this episode, you can always find our library of episodes here at bottledbusinesssenseshow.com. You can see the tape, the simulcast, or you can also listen to the audio replay on blogtalkradio.com/Bottled Business Sense Show. So we're here every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Regardless of where we happen to be, and we just, for Bill and I, we love providing this information to the small business owners, because in the end, we just love helping people, seeing them flourish, and if there's anything that Bill and I can contribute to our audience out there in the forms of marketing, video marketing, or legal help, that's really our main objective.
Yeah, there's really no greater reward, seriously, than somebody coming up and shaking your hand or giving you a pat on the back and saying, "Hey, I couldn't have done that without you," or "Thank you for helping me with this problem." It means much more than any monetary gain, seriously. But in any event, I also wanted to mention that on my website, wfblegalconsulting.com, if you're interested in legal services, you can access the Bottled Business Sense Show page right there on my website. There's a link there, and you can listen to the show there and learn about some legal principles at the same time. In closing the show, I wanted to mention we're not going to